Lovely. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Q&A session tonight. My name is Sarah and I'm Head of Animal Studies here at West Suffolk College. And joining me tonight is my fantastic team. So I'm just going to pass over to them for them to introduce themselves. So who wants to go first?
Shall we?
Yeah.
So hi, I'm Jake. I'm one of the technician demonstrators here in the Animal Studies Department.
Hi, I'm Layla. I'm also a tech dem here.
Hi, I'm Abby. I'm a tech dem / lecturer.
Hi, I'm Gemma. I'm one of the lecturers here.
And I'm Jordan. I'm also one of the lecturers here.
And we do also have Craig with us, but he's unfortunately having some laptop difficulties at the moment, but he'll be joining us again in a moment. Please feel free to start posting your questions through. As soon as the questions come through, I'm going to pass them around to the team and we're going to have a chat to you just about anything course related, really. And we can talk to you about the Animal Centre if you've got any questions about some of the animals we've got. If you're worried about perhaps grades and things like that, we're completely open to any sort of questions course related. So please, feel free to type them in.
Just to let you know, Craig's going to share with me.
Okay, yeah, fine. Lovely. Just waiting to see what questions we've got. What animals do you have? Oh, Layla and Jake, do you want to go with that one? Because you can see some in the background.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're currently in the nocturnal room. We have 4.
Yeah, you've got all 4.
Yeah, eating the worms. On the floor, you won't be able to see on the floor, but we have our African pygmy hedgehog, as well as our Gambian pouch rats in here. But we have a range of animals. We've got our big mammal room, so we have lots of small fluffies, really. So rabbits, guinea pigs, rats, mice, as well as our birds.
Goats, goats and the ducks as well outside. So yeah, a wide variety, haven't we? So
yeah, as well as our exotic room. So we've got lots of reptiles, all your snakes, lizards, inverts, so all tarantulas, scorpions, as well as a collection of fish.
Absolutely. And if you want to see some pictures of our animals, we've actually got an Instagram. So we are WSC Animal Studies on Instagram. Also, we've got our own Facebook page. Hopefully, quite a lot of you have seen it already because we've done lots of live videos. We did 10 last lockdown and we just did number 11 last Friday. So if you want to have a catch up, please do and have a look. So that's www.facebook.com/WSC Animal Studies. And it's the same on both platforms. You can have a look at all of our species on there. So behind Layla and Jake, we've got our 4 sugar gliders and we've got some fantastic videos of them eating, and they're obviously nocturnal, so they live within our nocturnal room, which is meant to be like mimicking a zoo enclosure basically. Okay, our next question, I'm going to send it over to Craig and Abby. What units do you cover?
Hello. That really depends on what course level you're going to be applying for. They all sort of cover similar things in terms of like animal health and husbandry. So that is common health, like diseases. They also have things about like how you'd look after them in terms of like cleaning them out, feeding them. Usually there's some behaviour elements in there. If you're on the level 3 programme, you'll have animal training, which is an excellent module. It's about like practically training one of the animals on the animal centre. There's some physical stuff in terms of like estate skills in your 2nd year, where you're like learning like the practical parts of like maintaining buildings and stuff, which is super important in terms of like if you're working in a zoo environment. What else, Craig?
What else do we do? So there are if you do the level 3 and you progress to the 2nd year, you can actually choose between management or the wildlife and zoo route. So you can choose things like kennel and cattery management in the management route, or you can choose things like the avian module if you chose to do the zoo route. So quite a nice option to have, I think.
Craig's biased because he teaches that module and he loves birds.
He does, yeah. If you do the level 1 programme or the level 2 programme, we also have a real nice range of modules. So there's exotics, and that goes through all of our modules, all of our courses, sorry, because I teach that, and I think it's really important for me to be able to see all of the students so I can keep an eye on you all. And then we also have things like work experience, which Jordan currently takes. So that's all to do with making sure that you guys have a work experience placement in industry. That's actually a mandatory element of all of our courses, is having a work experience placement. Really, really important. So if you're thinking of joining us in September, you do need to start thinking about where you'd like to do that. We also all cover feeding and nutrition. So throughout all of our modules, it's feeding, and we undertake that in the animal centre. So all of the feeding elements and accommodation elements are undertaken in the animal centre, so you get to do that practically. So you'll be feeding all of our animals, cleaning them out, and just doing general husbandry routines. I hope that answered that question. There's so many units though, isn't there, across all of our courses, and we're bringing in 3 new courses in September, so the units get even bigger every year. Our next question I'm going to send to Gemma. So Gemma, is this a good path to work as a vet one day?
Well, absolutely. From the veterinary path, so is it specifically veterinary surgeon or veterinary nursing? Was that, Sarah?
It
or
just says
generally?
vet. Yeah, so it just says vet. I mean, obviously our new pre-vet science route would be great if you want to be an actual vet. But yeah, I mean, Gemma teaches on the animal nursing assistance course, so even if you want to be a veterinary nurse or a veterinary nursing assistant, that's a great one as well.
Absolutely. So yeah, the new course that we're starting in September, the pre-veterinary science, would lead on to obviously, depending on obviously the how well you did on the course, access to university, obviously to study veterinary science. That would be a great route. From a kind of a veterinary nurse side of things, so the animal nursing assistant course that we do, which is a level 2 1-year qualification, that could lead on potentially to a level 3 veterinary nursing, but we don't actually offer that at West Suffolk. Or there are other, you can progress onto a different course within college if you wanted to maybe do a level 2 technical instead, depending on where you wanted to head with your career.
Absolutely. Jordan, this one's for you. How many days a week will we come into college?
3 days in college and 2 days at home, or doing your work experience, or catching up with your assignments, depending on which way you want to break up your week.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously at the moment it's 3 days at home because we're in lockdown, and unfortunately that's yeah, so at the moment all of our students are doing their 3 days at home online. That's quite tricky for us because obviously we have quite a large practical element, so where we can, we're offering theory around those practical based modules. So that's what these guys have been doing, is kind of changing up those practical lessons into theory as best we can, and then hopefully when we're allowed to have you guys back, we'll be doing a bit more in the way of practical sessions to get your skills up to standard, because we do have quite a lot of practical assessments that surround how you are practically, which leads me on to the next question, I think. Oh no, actually here's a good one. Layla, do I have to wear a uniform?
So not really a uniform. When you're working practically down the animal centre, so you wear something called PPE. So students are required to wear a tunic and some boots. When you're doing theory though, you just wear your normal clothes. All of this information though would be told to you at a later date through enrolment and so on, where you can purchase that from. Also you'll be sent summer work, and in a summer workbook, again, that tells you all the details from where you can purchase that. But yeah, the tunic's just to protect you, protect the animals, and protect your clothing, really.
Absolutely, yeah. So we have quite a big biosecurity procedure at the college. Making sure that everybody is abiding by biosecurity is so important for the safety of the animals, but also the safety of you guys and my team. You know, when you work with animals, there is a risk of disease, and obviously there is fecal matter, urine, and all sorts, and that's not what you want on your normal everyday clothes. Your normal timetable day will be split between practical and theory, so you don't want to be in practical getting covered in all sorts and then having to go sit in a classroom for an hour. So personal protective equipment is really important. So we ask you to wear your PPE just when you're in the animal centre. And there is actually another question that goes on from that. I'm skipping some questions, but I'll come back. Jake, it says, do you turn up to college in your boots and tunic, or do you get changed there?
So no, you do get changed here, and we actually supply lockers as well. So obviously all of your belongings, and when you get changed and stuff, they'll obviously be kept safe. So they're just by the animal centre as well, so it's really, really handy for the students because they can just get changed just before they come in to start their kind of practical lessons. So yeah, you don't need to worry about that.
Absolutely, and it's a biosecurity risk as well, isn't it? If you come to college wearing your PPE, that's not helping us to stop outside pathogens come into the animal centre, because obviously you're wearing your boots around campus and your tunic around campus, which we can't have. So you literally put on your PPE just as you're about to go into practical, just to keep everything in the animal centre that's meant to be there. So yeah, I hope that answers that question. Craig, where am I now? Is the animal centre on the main college site?
Yeah, so it's on the main college site, but we're not actually part of the main sort of building. We're just off, but it is signposted throughout the main site, so it's fairly easy to get to. I'm not the best with directions, but I made it safely on my first day. So, and we'll also sort of help you. There'll be staff around on site, so if you were to get lost, they'd be able to direct you and help you find the right place.
Absolutely, yeah. What we did last year for our students, we actually did a Facebook Live in our private student group, and we actually did it from the campus's main reception, and we walked all the way to the animal centre, and we did that the day before they started, so we did it so that you knew where to walk on your first day, and we'll absolutely do the same thing again. So that's how we do, as part of our induction process, is just making sure you're comfortable with where you're going, because we know that it can make you really anxious not knowing where you're going. And the animal centre is quite tucked away. We are based on the college's main site, as Craig said, but we are tucked away. We're our standalone building, which also helps with our biosecurity as well. Abby, what are the entry requirements for the different levels?
So for level 1, you need to have 2s in GCSE English and Maths. Is that correct, Sarah? English and Maths, yeah. And then for the level 2 programme, the technical programme, you need to have 4 3s in GCSEs, and we need to look at those core subjects again: English, Maths and Science. And then for the level 3 technical, you need 5 4s, so that's the equivalent of Cs. And again, we're looking at those core subjects: English, Maths and Science. If you're doing the combined sciences, you know, we'll look at the science overview, but if you're doing the 3 separate sciences, we will look at your biology, and that's the most important one, because on the technical programme for level 3, you're doing quite a lot of biology. There's a biology module, and it is, you know, the equivalent to 3A level, so it is quite intensive. So we definitely need that level 4 in your science biology.
Absolutely, and our new pre-veterinary science route, because it is so science heavy, we're asking for 5s, aren't we? You're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're asking for grade 5s in Maths, English and Science, and 2 others, just because it is very hard hitting. And actually we'll be adding core maths on the side of that as well, so students studying the pre-veterinary science route will also undertake core maths as a separate qualification, and that will actually provide you with more UCAS points, which is great if you want to go to like the Royal Veterinary College or something like that for university, where competition is very high. So that'll be good as well. Where are we next? So Gemma, is the course practical as well as theory?
Well, they are all both. So no matter what level you're working at, so whether that's level 1, level 2, level 3, the animal nursing assistant qualifications, so all of the courses that we run have both theory and practical elements.
Absolutely, and depending on where you are on the levels, level 1 students generally tend to do more practical than they do theory, and it kind of goes up like that really. On the level 3 programme, like Abby said, it is equivalent to 3A level, so it's very hard hitting. So they do more theory than they do practical, but you are still in the animal centre about 3 hours a week, so you do still get a nice range of practical tasks as well. Next question, Jordan, how is the course assessed?
So depending on which route you pick, if you pick any of our technical programs, our level 2 technical or our level 3 technicals, you will do a synoptic coursework assessment, which will be generally conducted around the Easter holidays. And you will also have an exam in both a spring assessment period and a summer assessment period. There's also, if you pick more of our practical programs, our ABC qualifications, that will lead you more on to portfolio-based work, where you'll be working through a portfolio workbook throughout the entirety of the year in different modules and different units, and that'll be what you're graded on and assessed through. And the level 1 qualification is the only one I'm need a bit more information on, Sarah?
Yeah, that's fine. So the level 1 programme is a mixture of assignments and practical assessments, actually. So it's quite a nice balance, isn't it? So they've got quite a lot of practical assessments because the level 1's all about giving you an introduction to animal care, basically. We're hoping that level 1 students stay with us onto the level 2 technical. So it provides us with an opportunity to give you that sort of introduction to all of those key skills. But yeah, so it really does depend on what course you enter on. But like Jordan said, the technicals, 40% of the qualifications based on your exam, and you get to sit that in March, and then you get a retake in around June. If you need a retake. And then we also have our synoptic assessment, which is 60% of your final qualifications. That's really important, and that's a really independent task. We're not allowed to help you with that at all. It's coursework, like Jordan said, but it's done in exam conditions, and we give you the task, and you have to work out what you need to do for it, which sounds incredibly hard, and it is. But that's part of the test, really, is to see how you deal with that sort of situation, and that's usually practical and theory based. So it might be that you're asked to create a healthcare plan, and then when you go down the animal centre, you actually have to undertake that healthcare plan. So they do tie in really well together. Right, next question. I'll give this one to Abby. Do you learn about conservation?
Hey, yeah, you actually do. So on the level 1 programme, there is an introduction to wildlife conservation module. So that's sort of the basics, really, understanding how wild animals live, and a bit about ecosystems as well. And then on the level 2 programme, there's the British wildlife module. That's a really fun module. It's assessed through like posters and assignment, and you learn about how to take care of wildlife casualties, and also, again, a little bit about ecosystems. And then on the level 3 program, sorry, like Craig mentioned earlier, you can pick the zoo route, and in that you have a wildlife rehabilitation module, which really focuses on population management of wild animals and also conservation methods. And then both routes in the second year have wildlife ecology and conservation, which sort of is a little bit about sort of how we conserve species, but a little bit also about how you can like survey them and like protect them and lots of things. So yes, lots
Absolutely.
of conservation stuff. Oh, and then also the new
the
new land and wildlife one. So we're launching it this September. Really excited about it. It's a level 3 technical qualification, and it's wildlife conservation, and it's basically about conserving habitat management. There's a module about population surveys, and then all the different habitats that we have in the UK as well. So yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, and we're really hoping to plan some trips in around conservation as well. So actually, Abby and I are going to Honduras in June and July. It's a 2-week research expedition, and we're taking the students. Obviously, we're not just disappearing off on our own on holiday. So it's a 2-week research expedition. First week is in the cloud forests of Casuco National Park, and part of our job while we're there and the students is to do data collection. So we'll be joining all the different scientists that are there doing their PhDs, and we'll be catching different mammals, birds, bats. We'll be looking at invertebrates, we'll be doing light trapping, we'll do herp walks where we look for amphibians and reptiles. Part of our job will be to swab amphibians to check for chytrid fungus. So it's really important, and actually all of the data that we collect gets put forward towards protection of the rainforest, because it basically proves what species are there and why it's so important to protect. So that's really, really cool. And then the second week we're on an island called Roatan, which I'd definitely get you to Google because it's so beautiful. It's exactly what you would see on a postcard. And during our week on Roatan, the students will be learning how to dive, and they'll actually become PADI qualified. So they'll be doing their diving qualification. And then once they're fully qualified, they'll be able to do coral reef ecology. So we'll be looking at how to maintain the coral reefs and what the problems are facing coral reef decline. And they'll also be telling us a bit about lionfish, because unfortunately they are not native species to the area, and they're causing quite a lot of problems to the local wildlife. So that's one of the trips we do. Obviously, that's quite a big trip. And then we're also hoping to plan a trip to South Africa as well. So Abby, Layla and I have all been to the same reserve in South Africa called Mankway, and it's run by a really lovely lady called Lynn, and we're trying to organise a trip for our students there as well. It's a very small reserve, and it's a family run reserve, so it's really nice because you get to do everything from rhino patrol, which could be driving around the perimeter just to make sure the rhinos stay away from the fence, because unfortunately they do have a problem with poachers out there. It could also be looking for mammal tracks, it could be doing grass surveys. So yeah, we do try and pull in conservation as much as we can, because as a team We're all very passionate about conservation, and we're all very passionate about recycling. We've got our own recycling in the animal centre. Abby leads that actually. So we've got our own recycling area where we recycle all of the animal feed bags, glass, plastic, cardboard, you name it. We try and recycle it, don't we? Because we're, we really want to make a difference. So, right, next one. Are there any opportunities for mature students to join the courses, Jordan?
So in terms of mature students joining the courses, the main point with this is you have something called an adult learner loan that you can apply for. The adult learner loan will effectively go towards paying for that qualifications fees. Depending on the level of maturity of the learner, if the learner is not done a level 3 program before, generally speaking, there is some opportunity for funding from the government as well. However, if you are over 25 and you want to do an additional qualification, there are adult learner loans. That is the main route that we can push. We can look at for funding the courses.
Yeah, at the moment, most of our courses have 16 to 18-year-olds. So if you are a mature learner, you would be joining a course with 16 to 18-year-olds. We don't currently offer any mature learner specific courses. It's something that we have spoken about as a team, isn't it? It's something that we'd quite like to run evening courses in the future. But at the moment, we're very much just, because we're bringing in these new qualifications in September, we're very much just focusing on those. And then we'll be looking at how we can offer some more mature learner courses in the evenings. Our level 3 animal management program, because it is equivalent to 3 A levels, it's a very big qualification, and we wouldn't be able to run that part-time or in the evenings. Whereas something like the animal nursing assistance course, we could run that part-time, and we could run that in the evenings for mature learners. So that's something that we're going to be looking at for the future. So you'll have to just sort of watch this space, really. Where are we next? What grades are needed to do the pre-veterinary science course? We had a little chat about that already. So they're grade 5s. So 5s in maths, English and science, and 2 others. Obviously, if you've got 2 English grades, we can take those. If you've got 3 science grades, we can obviously take those as well. When will we receive the summer workbook, Craig?
So they'll. Oh.
You're on.
So they'll receive that. Is that when they get their enrolment, Sarah? Is it just around the same time? Just so they've got the summer to do it?
June.
Absolutely, yeah. So so July.
Yeah, so July. You'll basically have all of the summer to work through it, and then you'll be assessed in the first week.
Second week, I reckon.
Second week. So you've got to make sure you get it done.
Yeah, for sure. So basically, obviously when you work with animals, we've said before that risks are quite high when you work with animals. That's risks to you as also risks to the animals, and obviously you have to work with chemicals for cleaning and things like that. So we do have to cover quite a lot of health and safety, and it's not everybody's favourite topic apart from Jordan's. It's Jordan's favourite topic, but it's not students' favourite topic. So what we try and do is put it all in the summer workbook for you to work through whilst we're waiting obviously to take you on, and then also it gives us an opportunity to see what kind of level you're working at. It also shows us what kind of motivation you're kind of displaying as well, because if you've done your workbook when you start with us, then obviously that shows us that you're really dedicated to joining, so that's really important. But the summer workbook's just all health and safety based, and then actually when you start with us, every course has a health and safety test. Woohoo. So it's really important that we get that covered, and we do that health and safety test as soon as we can. We try and get it done within the first 6 weeks, because again that will indicate whether or not you're on the right level program, and within the first 6 weeks of any course we have the opportunity to move you between levels. Obviously that would be within a conversation with yourself. We wouldn't just do it. And then obviously we can get parents involved in that sort of conversation as well, but that allows us to kind of understand a bit more about how you learn and what kind of level you're working at. Would we stay in the animal centre the whole time we are on campus, Jake?
So short answer is no. So it's a mixture of theory and practical lessons. For your practical lessons, you will be down here on the animal centre, and for your theory lessons, you'll kind of be on the main campus and the main campus buildings in the classroom. So, but as kind of Gemma was saying before, it's a mixture of practical and theory sessions for you guys throughout the week. So yeah, but you won't be spending all of your time down here. But us guys are based down here. But obviously we travel across to the main building just like you guys would have to do in the classrooms to do your theory sessions. So yeah.
Absolutely. So when you're with us, you do something called a study program. So you're not with us just to do animal studies. You do something called a study program. Part of your study program is obviously your animal studies course, but it also includes English and maths if you haven't already got a grade for. And then it also covers things like directed study, work experience. It covers course director time, which is when you meet with one of my wonderful team to talk about how you're doing academically. And it also includes PST time, which is your personal support tutor time. So it gives you some opportunities to talk about anything else that's worrying you, if there's something at home, or perhaps you're having relationship issues, anything like that you can discuss with your PST. So when you're with us, the study program, all elements are mandatory, so you do have to attend all of them, and they'll all be on your timetable. So like Jake said, what we try and do is separate your week, so practical is spread throughout it, so you've got something to look forward to, because we know that spending time with the animals is what everybody really wants to do. Right, where are we next? Will there be an open day so that we can get an idea of where we need to go if we get in? Who wants to answer that one? I'll leave that to the floor.
I don't mind.
Go on then.
So typically we usually have these events as an open event, and we would invite you in to have a tour of the animal centre. We'd have students giving you a tour, and that's, you know, it's a perfect opportunity for you to ask those questions and for them to like be honest about how they're enjoying the course, etc. But because we're in this situation right now, this is why we're online. Hopefully around June time we usually do our enrolment. So again, this is where we would typically invite you into the college. You'd carry out some activities with us, usually in a classroom. We'd give you a tour of the animal centre. Sometimes we try to incorporate stuff with the animals, but it really depends on, you know, what's you know, being done down here in the animal centre at the time. And then, you know, we obviously don't know if that's going to go ahead with the pandemic, but you know, as we've already reiterated through some of the other answers, you definitely won't be on your own on the first day. When you come into college, one of the staff members usually comes up to meet you, gives you like a little tour on the way down, shows you the best route to the animal centre. We're fingers crossed going to have classrooms around this area, so hopefully we're all going to be sort of in one area. But everyone is in the same boat on the same day. Everyone gets lost. When we moved from our old site in Newmarket to our lovely new facility at main campus, I got lost so many times. I mean, I still sometimes get lost now. So honestly, you know, you'll be lost, but everyone's super friendly. The staff are lovely here. If you just, you know, just say I'm lost, I'm trying to find this place, everyone knows where we are, because everyone wants to come and see us down here at the animal studies because it's quite fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really well signposted as well. There's signposts throughout the college. There's actually lots of signposts on the walls as well. So we're well signposted. I actually created a campus map as well. So I just used the college's campus map and put us on there and added loads of direction arrows on it. So we send that to everybody over the summer as well. So you'll get given that extra information. Maddie's actually posted on the side as well in the comments section. We've got a virtual tour. So it's kind of like Google Maps, really. You can go on there and you can actually do a virtual tour of the whole campus. So you can see all of our different facilities, including the animal centre, and you can also look at our Facebook if you want to see a bit more about what the animal centre looks like, because we've done 11 videos now. You'll get fed up of hearing from us, and we post on there really regularly as well. So we're posting regular updates on the animals, on what we're doing. Today's World Penguin Day, so we've posted on there saying Happy World Penguin Day, and did you know there's 18 different species of penguin? And Jake and Craig have both worked with penguins previously. That's really hard to say. Yeah, and we're talking about how much it hurts to get bitten by a penguin earlier today. Gemma, how do you know if you've got in or not?
Oh, I think I might have to pass that one back to you, actually, Sarah.
That's
with
fine.
regards to that, yeah.
Oh, Craig, I thought you were putting your hand up there. Do you want to give that a go? Go on, Abby, you go.
So what you'll usually do, so if you haven't applied for your place yet, please apply for your place as soon as you feel like you're ready to. Then you'll be invited to an interview, that will be over the telephone, and we'll just basically have a general chit chat just to get you to know you a little bit better. You might have some more questions after watching maybe our Facebook videos and coming to a session like this. We'll then give you you know, the options. So you might have an unconditional or a conditional offer, and that usually means that the conditions are you need to get your grades. However, if you don't get your so say if you applied for level 3 and you don't get those grades, the option would be, would you like to come and join us for level 2? So just because you may not meet your predicted grades or your actual grades, please don't worry, because there are other options with us at Animal Studies. And then once you've got your grades, you'll be invited maybe into the college. Last year it was done all online because of the pandemic. It's basically you confirming what your grades are, and then from that point we'll be like, hey, come and join us 100% in September.
Absolutely, yeah. So we do have something called enrolment confirmation, and that'll be when we can give you 100% where you're going to fit with us. But when we do interviews, like Abby said on the phone, we'll say to you on the phone, congratulations, you're being given a conditional offer. And like Abby said, that just means you have to meet those certain conditions. If you've already got GCSEs because you're somebody who's coming to us after you've done another course somewhere else, then obviously we can give you something called an unconditional offer, which means you've definitely got a place with us. We just need to see the evidence of your grades. So yeah, you get to be told straight away when you speak to us on the phone, so please don't worry. We've only got a couple of questions left, I think, unless anybody's got any more, so please keep firing them in at us. Do I have to come in for an interview? So I think we've just covered that one. So Abby's just said a bit about doing online interviews on the phone. We don't do them on camera, we just do them on the phone. Everybody's got a work phone and we just give you a call. It's really brief, it's only 10 minutes, and it's just a conversation really to find out why it is you want to do animal studies. Obviously animal studies courses are very popular, so we are quite picky, and we do have to make sure that everybody's here because they want to be here. We know that animals are quite a draw for people, but we have to make sure that everybody's really motivated because our courses are very science-based, and I think sometimes people forget that. And it's a lot of hard work. You know, working with animals is hard, isn't it, guys? There's a lot of physical work involved when you're actually in the animal centre. Some of the way people use brooms is shocking. So yeah, it is very physical, and there is a lot of work to do, but if you're really keen, then obviously we'd love to have you. So I think that's really important. Is it easy to get lost in the main building? Jake, I mean, you're the newest person here. Is it easy to get lost in the main building?
You know what, I still do sometimes lost, but there's always someone around that can help me, so it's not a worry. So there's always someone that you can ask, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. And then once you've done it a few times, you kind of know where you're going then, so you should be all right. But yeah, I reckon it took me a couple of weeks, and then yeah, I know kind of my main routes now, where I need to go. And as I say, if you get stuck, there's always someone to ask, so it's not something you need to worry about at all.
Yeah, absolutely. We're kind of at the end of a purple corridor, aren't we? So everywhere's painted purple because that's our teammates over at Conservatoire East is all painted purple walls. And as you get to the end of the purple walls is where animal studies is, so you can see a change in colour. And that's where we live. We actually live near the caretakers, which is actually really handy for us because we always have stuff we need them to do, so we can just pick their brains while we need to. So we're in a really nice location. We're just behind Edmund's house. We're near the bistro, which is a nice little like restaurant, so all of the students can go in there to get like sandwiches, crisps, drinks, hot food, so it's nice to be around the corner from that. We haven't got any other questions at the moment. I'm trying to think of some more additional questions I can ask you guys, so I can pick your brains while everybody's waiting. We've had quite a lot of questions about PPE already, which tends to be our main one. Layla, do I have to hold a tarantula?
I knew you were going to ask this one. We get it all the time, don't we?
We do, yeah.
So no, definitely not. Although we'd encourage you to, there's no way that we'd ever force you to handle anything that you didn't want to. Although the practical assessments that we carry out do mean that you are, or that you have to handle and restrain and health check and so on, a range of animals. So yeah, like I said, we'd encourage you to, but we wouldn't ever force you to.
Yeah, we actually have, Abby's got quite a good story about one of our current students who has recently handled a snake, even though she was really, really frightened of them. And I think that's what we try and encourage is if you've got it as a like something you're really worried about, and it is usually tarantulas, isn't it, that people are the most worried about, then we get them to set it as a target, a smart target. So something that's specific and measurable that they can do, try and do it by the end of the year. And we don't push that at all. We give that to the students as a complete option. And then we just kind of encourage them, you know, when they're ready. And yeah, you had somebody do a snake recently, didn't you?
Yeah, one of our year 2 students. So always was a bit nervous about being in the exotics room. You know, even we do water changes every day for their water bowls, and even just doing that was quite difficult for her. But we had the opportunity literally just before last half term. She did really well, handled the snake correctly. Could see that she was nervous but challenged it, showed that she was resilient and confident. And you know, that's what we want. We really want to have our students confident in handling all the animals if they are able to in the animal centre. It's the best experience you can get. You've got a team that have got loads of experience with loads of different animals, so we'll show you the best way to approach them. It's always going to be safe. We're going to make sure the animal's safe and you're safe, and yeah, we just want you to enjoy it, but there's no pressure to handle things that you don't like. But as Layla said, we would like to encourage you to try.
Absolutely, and I think that's the thing is there's lots of people that are worried about the tarantulas. We do have 5 different species of tarantula. If you want to see the different tarantulas we've actually got a video based on handling the exotics, and I got the zebra leg out and it did run up my arm, which did frighten me a little bit, and I love tarantulas. They're like one of my favorite things. So I kind of have encouraged the fact that we have 5. But yeah, there's people don't like snakes either, and we've got some students that are scared of rats, and we have 2 giant rats. We've got 2 Gambian pouch rats, and I think some of the students are a bit worried about those as well. But like Layla said, it's not something that we force on anybody. And like Abby said, actually a lot of students that do push themselves to do it are really happy afterwards. I've had students cry because they're so happy that they've finally faced their fear and held a tarantula. You know, and our year 2 student who held the snake was obviously really excited afterwards about the fact that she'd finally, you know, made herself do that. And Abby mentioned some really cool key words for us. We've got our character strengths here at the college, which we try and encourage all of our students to build while they're with us. And we also have our own set of professional standards, which we push as well. We've got 8 professional standards, and they kind of reflect the professional standards in the veterinary industry as well as the zookeeping industry. And we want you to work towards those, not because we're mean, but because we want you to be employable when you leave us. And the best way to do that is to install all of these really important skills. So like Abby said about being resilient, if you're scared of an animal, but you manage to pull yourself through it and give things a go, and try and learn things for yourself, and, you know, be really confident in yourself. That's kind of what we want, because that's what employers want, and that's our job really, is to make you employable so you get the job that you want, you know, somewhere within the animal industry. So yeah, that's our sort of main job really. So not only do we have to include all of the fantastic practical skills, we also want to make sure you've got those sorts of, you know, employable skills as well. I'm trying to think if there's any other questions that we get quite regularly. Can anybody think of some that we get asked quite a lot?
Yeah, how different college life is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Quite a lot of them ask, don't they? And I guess it is really different from school. You know, you're not having to wear a uniform. You get to address us by our first names, which, you know, lots of students slip up and keep calling us Miss at the beginning of the year and Sir. And
I've even been called Mum once.
It makes me feel really old when they're like Miss. I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's definitely like we want to treat you like a young adult, like we're helping you on those first initial early stages of finding yourself as an adult. You'll notice that both Sarah and I have colourful hair. That is something that you can do at college. Sorry, parents. Piercings are allowed. You know, you can wear your own clothes. We're really trying to encourage you to show your own identity and be able to show that, obviously without being offensive. Don't wear offensive clothes. And also it's independence. We really try and embed independence. It's really, really important skill to have working in the animal industry, because there'll be times where you're working on your own. There'll be times where you get very limited training, then you're expected to carry out tasks, and that is a skill that you will be sort of experiencing from day one, or a skill that we want to help you build upon from day one. Independent learning is a very new concept for you, because you will have your teachers probably giving you lots of stuff to help you complete tasks. We're not mean. We're not going to say do this without giving you any lessons. We obviously give you all the background information, but especially at level 3, we expect you to be doing additional reading and research around subjects, because we want you to get the most out of your qualification, and we give you sort of the stepping stones for you to be able to achieve, but we need that extra little bit of effort for you to make that final leap. So
absolutely. And we do provide like an extra reading list, don't we, in with the summer work. So we do provide some suggested reading. We're not expecting people to run out and raid Waterstones, but we do give you like a list of books which are suggested by the spec that we use to teach you. So that's a really great way to kind of read behind the scenes about all your different modules. Yeah, I think that is really good to point out, actually. And in the animal centre, you do have to take your piercings out. So Layla, Abby and I obviously have face piercings. We take all of those out when we're in the animal centre. That's for their safety as well as yours. You don't want one of the birds pulling one of your hoops out. And then you also have to have your hair up in the animal centre, and you have to have your legs covered, basically. So you just have to be wearing trousers. You can't go in a skirt or shorts, for example. Yeah, so that's it really. Yeah, and it is very different to high school, because obviously we are treating you like a young adult, so you are very much responsible for your own learning, and you're very much responsible for your own actions and your behaviour, and we do, you know, make sure we pull you up on that regularly. So but we work through that together, and that's really important. You know, you're here to learn, and mistakes happen, and we're absolutely fine for that. It's our job to really give you the safe environment for you to be able to make those mistakes and then move forward. We've got a couple of minutes left. Has anybody else got anything they want to add?
Craig had something.
Oh, go on, Craig.
Probably the last one. What sets us apart from other colleges?
Yeah, what do you think?
Obviously, we're all. Sorry, Abby, I'm about to get really close.
I'll just give you this.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry, Abby. So what sets us apart from everybody else? Between us, we've got like, I think it's over 80 years of experience, or 70 years.
We're not old, just so you point that out. We're not
Just combined experience.
Yeah,
combined
experience in a range of different settings. So we've got ex-keepers, we've got people that have worked abroad like Abby. Obviously Layla and Sarah spent quite a lot of time working in colleges. Gemma's worked as a behaviourist. So we tick quite a lot of different career routes.
Sorry, Jordan, you don't get mentioned.
Sorry, Jordan, I did forget. And we're all also really friendly and approachable, and like everybody else has said, we want to develop you. We want to inspire the next generation of zookeepers, dog behaviourists, you know, vets. David Attenborough's.
Absolutely.
So, you know, like I said, we want to help inspire that, and we're all friendly and helpful and super passionate, like Abby said. So yeah. If you believe, you will achieve.
Absolutely, and that is a quote to live by. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. It's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for my wonderful team. I think we've done a great job, so thank you so much. Stay safe.
Bye.